Good afternoon from the Water Utilization Learning Center. My name is Brian Olson, and here and talk to you about irrigation management in soybeans. So there is a lot of similarities between corn and soybeans, but there are some differences. Obviously, cool, cloudy weather does impact how soybeans are using water, decreases the amount of irrigation needed. So that is important as we look at our variable temperatures and weather across the Central Plains, that we can get some weeks where soybeans are really not using as much water as we would anticipate. But as we get into that 90-95 degree temperatures that might be occurring toward the end of this week, we will see soybeans using more water than normal. And so what does that look like when it comes to vegetative versus early reproductive versus late stage reproduction on soybeans? What's the most important? Well, as many farmers know, watering soybeans early in the vegetative stage is not typically a good idea. It really has to do with if you go out there and water too soon, you're going to get a lot of extra growth, you're going to delay flowering, and soybeans can be a little bit of a mess if you water it too early. So let the soybeans do what they're doing on the soil moisture that is available, unless it's extremely dry. They'll develop a good root system, and then when you start seeing flowering out there in that R1 stage, that's when you need to start picking up and making sure that the soybean plants are getting their needs met through supplemental irrigation. However, that's not the true critical time of irrigation for soybeans. It's really after that we start seeing some pods being set on those upper four nodes. That's when we're into that R3 stage on that soybean plant. And that is when we're really looking at having some water needs moving forward that we got to stay on top of if we're managing irrigation out there in the field. As we look at the development of the plant, if we maybe are not on top of the management like we need to be, we can have some very small test weight, very small seeded soybeans. And that can be dramatically reduce the amount of soybeans that are taken into the elevator. And so once we start actively managing that irrigation out there in those soybeans, starting in that R1 to R2 time frame, we really need to stay on top of that. Make sure we're fully irrigating those soybeans until they're fully mature. After they're fully mature, they're obviously going to start drying down. We've got some research from back in 2013 out here at the Learning Center where we purposely shut down the soybean irrigation too soon and reduced the amount of the water at that late season by 2 inches. And that basically cost us about 15 bushels per acre compared to when we would go ahead and fully irrigate those soybeans through the end of the growing season. So again, right now, that R3 time frame is going to be the time when we'd be using the most irrigation water out there, but then it gradually declines as it goes through R5, R6, and when you get a fully mature soybeans, make sure you go through there and water those soybeans throughout the whole growing season in order to make sure we got nice big round plump soybeans that we can take into the elevator. So with that, good luck as you are going through and looking at your fields. Obviously there's been some variable weather, some variable amount of rainfall that's come across the area, and so actively managing each individual field is going to give you the best chance of success in order to take some high yielding soybeans to the elevator. Thank you.
Thanks for watching this video from the Gothenburg Water Utilization Learning Center. For more information, please call 308-537-4500.